Maybe 4 minutes, Ron Caron always up and yelling, let's give him 4, no, let's give him 5. And on that ensuing power play, Phil Housley gets the goal who beats Darcy Wakaluk. St. Louis looking good early on, leading Dallas by a score of 1-0. But in the second period, Mike Modano makes amends. He was stopped on the first try, but gets his own rebound to beat 6-13. This Mike Modano shot beats Joseph. His 5th goal of the playoffs gave Dallas a 2-1 victory as Brett Hull, Peter Nedved and company are out of this one. Mike Modano's had an incredible playoff so far, and after the game was over, the star of the stars with these post-game thoughts.
Yeah, we feel real good. To do it off, the finish the last 2 games here in St. Louis showed, we've been working hard all season for this chance and to redeem ourselves after the disappointment ending of the season last year. And a lot of the guys are really excited about the way this series unfolded, and we're pretty happy that it's over.
Are you surprised that in retrospect, that you were able to sweep the St. Louis team?
Yeah, very much. The moves they made at the trading deadline was pretty shocking. They got rid of a lot of the guys that gave us troubles in the season and early part. Basson and Butcher and Sutters and Laurie, good skaters who could check well and gave us a real bad trouble here in the rink especially. But the guys they picked up, like the puck possession, and kind of widened the game up a little bit for us. And if we were able to play good defense, we were be able to shut them down and get our opportunities.
So a sweep in the West, and the same story in the East at Nassau County Coliseum as the Rangers put away the Islanders. The Islanders had never lost 4 straight in a 7-game series, and Al Arbour didn't want it to happen today, but it did. But the Islanders opened the scoring on the power play, 1:28 into the game. Steve Thomas picks up the loose puck in front and rifles one past Mike Richter. 1-0 for the Islanders, and then they take a 2-0 lead. Dan Plant's first NHL goal as it just beats Richter, bouncing over the line, 2-0 for the Islanders. But in the second, it's a Ranger power play as they get the goal as Kovalev scores there, and then Sergei Zubov takes the pass from Brian Leach, and that'll tie up the game at 2 as he beats Ron Hextall. And 7 minutes later, the Rangers grab their first lead on the game. Mark Messier puts the visitors up 3-2, and that's the way it stood after 40 minutes of play. Then in the third period, Steve Larmer will give the Rangers a 2-goal lead, banging home the loose puck at the edge of the crease. Mark Messier will add another. Mike Keenan and Al Arbour shake hands as this one is over, as the New York Rangers, Mike Richter a star once again, stopping the Islanders when he had to, as the Rangers sweep the Islanders in 4 straight, a 5-2 final. Our score after 40 minutes here at the Pacific Coliseum, Trevor Linden, the lone goal in that second period. It's Vancouver 2, the Calgary Flames 1. Third period action is next.
In an ongoing research project to determine the ultimate beverage, I'm isolating superstar model Cindy Crawford in a Pepsi deprivation.
Chicago 2-1. And as the series moves along, of course, the next game becomes all that more important. Blackhawk can tie it up or can be staring at elimination. Hello again, everybody. I'm Bob Cole in the broadcast booth with Harry Neal, and there is Felix Potvin. 28 saves in the last game last night. He was saying today he was disappointed in himself. He felt there were at least 2 he should have had. One more save than Potvin, and that was enough to get Chicago back into the series by Ed Belfour. He made a game saver on Jamie McCann.
Calgary Flames certainly do. During the regular season 3, as they went into Game 4 of their series with the Canucks, the Flames were without Joey Nieuwendyk and Joel Otto, 2 of the team leaders. But when it comes to team leaders, the Flames seem to have plenty of them to spare. So the C on this night would be donning the jersey of Farron Fleury. The Canucks looking for some leadership from Pavel Bure, just 1 goal in the last 10 playoff games by Vancouver. Flames get a chance early on. Gary Robertson alone, and Kurt McLean poke-checks the puck away nicely. But the Flames do get on the board first. Ronnie Stern breaks in on McLean, scores, and makes it 1-0 Calgary. Canucks with a chance a little later on. Al MacInnis falls. That allows Murray Craven to break it alone, and Mike Vernon turns him away with an outstanding pad save. Canucks even it up on the power play. Vernon will stop Pavel Bure, but Martin Jalina is there for the rebound. Game tied at 1 after 1. Second period action now. The Canucks take the lead. Trevor Linden with a big slap shot that beats Vernon, and the Canucks on top by a score of 2-1. Canucks held the lead until early in the third period. Off the face-off, Al MacInnis lets the shot go. Wes Wells is there for the rebound. That ties the game at 2. 9 minutes later now, Robert Reichel spots Theo Fleury in front. Bang, bang, just like that, the Flames take a 3-2 lead. Canucks continue to press. Later on, Trevor Linden moves in. His backhand goes off the post and under Mike Vernon. Fortunate break for the Flames. Then late in the game, the Canucks continue to press. Pavel Bure with a chance turned away. Adams with a chance turned away. Jalina with a chance turned away. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Flames all there. And Pat Quinn says, what have we got to do to get one in? They couldn't get another win in on this night, so the final Calgary over Vancouver 3-2. Mike Vernon made 42 stops, many of them of the excellent caliber. Flames now lead the series 3-1. David Pratt was in Vancouver and has this report.
More and more, this series is starting to look and feel like an old Hollywood movie with Farron Fleury in the starring role. Once again, it was Fleury who delivered a third-period goal to win it for the Flames.
Thought, geez, here's a chance, and I just kind of skated towards the net, and Robert threw a great pass, and I one-timed it in the far corner. So, I'm very fortunate, to have scored a couple of big goals for the team lately, and it's gone a long ways in helping us win. We were able to work through it and score a couple in the third period. It's been a great series, and we're just hoping that we can show something for our fans on Tuesday night and take the series.
We had a respectable first period, played kind of a little bit of a rope-a-dope second period, and Mike was excellent, and then he gave us a chance to win in the third period just down 1, and we had a good third period. We played really smart third period, just the way we wanted to play the whole game. Couldn't do it, but we did it in the third period when I counted.
We got some great response from guys like Wes Wells, Paul Cruz, guys that that aren't they don't get the headlines enough and things like that, and guys like that did a great job for us, and that was the key tonight.
For the most part, we played a good hockey game. I know now our backs are to the wall, and we've got to get the job done, and we have to do it with the same sort of effort we got tonight, only better results.
We just have to keep a positive attitude. I mean, we can't let ourselves get down. Now, we've been in this situation before in the past, and we've come back from it. So why not in this series?
As far as the injuries are concerned, still no word on when Otto and Nieuwendyk are expected to get back into the Calgary lineup. But heading back home up 3-1, the Flames may not need them. David Pratt, TSN, Vancouver.
Probably the toughest series of the first round continued at Chicago Stadium on Sunday. The Toronto Maple Leafs and Chicago Blackhawks have been going toe-to-toe since Game 2 of their matchup. But with the Leafs up 2-1, and with the possibility that Game 4 might be the final hockey game ever played at the old building, the Hawks came out pumped, and their fans were certainly pumped. All they do was win this game, and they definitely guaranteed themselves at least one more game at the old building, and they get the cheering going early on. Tony Amonte, Gary Suter work to give and go. Suter finishes, and it's 1-0 Chicago. Later in the first, Hawks with the man advantage. Puck is worked back to Suter at the point. Suter lets a shot go through the big screen. Pavel, no shot, never even saw it. Second of the game for Suter, 2-0 Chicago. Pat Burns and the Leafs find them behind early the second consecutive night. Leafs get one back before the end of the first. On the power play, Jamie McCown shot goes right. Doug Gilmour, tough angle, but Gilmour converts. A great play by Dougie Gilmour, beating Belfour, cuts the lead to 2-1. Stayed that way until the 15-minute mark of the second period. Leafs on another power play. Gilmore. Great pass here to Dave Andrechuk, who puts it in off Belfour, and that ties the game at 2. Second consecutive night. The Leafs come back from deficit to tie the game. Then they go ahead. Gilmore spots Rob Pearson. Pearson beats Belfour. Leafs up by a score of 3-2. 10 minutes later, Hawks on the power play now. Gary Suter again. Gary Suter looks to and does indeed complete the hat trick. That ties the game at 3. Now we go to overtime. Just 1:23 in. Todd Gill, big mistake in his own zone. Joe Murphy, Tony Amante, Jeremy Roenick scores, and that's it. The Hawks pull it out in overtime. Pat Burns and the Leafs leave Chicago Stadium a little disappointed. It's over. Chicago wins it by a score of 4-3 to even the series at 2 games apiece. Roenick a goal, 3 assists. Doug Gilmore a goal, 2 assists. Ed Belfour, 33 saves. With more, here's Rod Smith.
Anyone who predicted a long and tough series appears to be bang on. If you throw away game number 1, which the Leafs won easily, these two teams are inseparable. 3 one-goal games, 2 of them decided in overtime, with the home team winning all 4. In fact, the way things are going, home ice is more...
Well, give them credit. Now it's back home, and it's a different series now. It's all tied up, and it's best out of 3. Anything can happen now.
Well, I think we played a good game. It was 2-0 for them in the first, and then we came back and we even took the lead 3-2, and then we took a penalty and a long shot, and Felix didn't see it. Those are the breaks we don't get sometimes, and we can't just look at it, and we just have to learn from it.
Pretty good game. It's just that when their best line was on the ice, once again, it made some things happen, and they got a couple lucky ones that were deflections on the power play. So, we're going back with a positive attitude. It's 2-2, still best 2 out of 3, and we've got the home ice advantage now. So, it's going to take a little longer than we hoped.
Face the Blackhawks all year was even, and this is the team that we've a hard-fought game against tonight.
I just kept working hard, and I kept feeding the puck to whoever was on the ice with me, and tried to create other things that that maybe weren't going for me the other way.
It was a must-win. Obviously, we don't want to get down 3-1, but we're leaving now. We're going back to Toronto, and if we're to win this series, we have to win 1 there, obviously. So we just got to get ready for the next game.
It didn't take long for the souvenir programs to sell out here at Chicago Stadium. Fans obviously aware that this could have been the final hockey game played here, but the Hawks refused to let this old barn die. They have guaranteed themselves at least 1 more game, Game 6 against the Leafs on Thursday night. Rod Smith, TSN in Chicago.
What do you get when you stock a team with talented finesse players? Well, you usually get a team that is totally unsuited for playoff hockey. Over the past year, the St. Louis Blues added players with a lot of finesse. Sunday, the team was Dallas Stars in Game 4 of the series. Mike Modano, the star of this game. Early in the first, Kevin Miller with the hip check on Modano. Modano doesn't like it and nearly takes off Miller's head. Everyone's screaming for a major. Ron Cross says 4 or maybe 5, but the ref says 2. On the power play, Phil Housley from the point shoots. Wakalek got a piece of it, but Darcy Wakalek could not stop it. 1-0 for the Blues. To the second period now. Dave Gagne up and over Tom Tilley. He's okay though. A little later on, Modano with a great effort. The shot is stopped. Rounds the net, waits for the rebound. Tied at 1. Dallas fans enjoying what they are seeing. On now to the third period we go. St. Louis pressing. Kevin Miller with a great chance. Then Brandon Shanahan with an opportunity. Just misses. Roncaron upstairs, undressing himself in frustration, as a matter of fact. Later in the game, Stars with the man advantage. West Cardinal side of the net. 2. Mike Modano, other side of the net. Scores from the faceoff circle. Dallas goes up by a score of 2-1, and Dallas goes on to sweep the St. Louis Blues in 1993-94 Stanley Cup Playoffs. Final score in this one, 2-1. Final score in the series, Stars win it 4 straight. Darcy Wakalek, surprise starter for the Stars in this series, won all 4 games in the series, making 25 stops in game number 4, but the hero in game 4, Mike Modano.
That feels great. A lot of guys excited about it. We felt good coming into it, getting a 2-0 lead, and I knew if we backed up what we said, we have a great time doing it.
A lot of teams are going to step up and notice that we're a team that a lot of people overlooked as far as the playoffs go. And like I said, we really haven't won anything yet. It's just one little step that we've taken.
That final game always seems to be the most difficult, and I don't think today's game it fit right into that description. It was decided not until the buzzer went at the end.
So the Stars sweep the Blues elsewhere. The New York Islanders trying to avoid being swept by the Rangers. Ronnie Hextall has been frustrated in this series. Case in point, watch as Hextall gets nailed by Glenn Anderson. Hextall almost chops Anderson, but thinks better of it. A little later on, Steve Thomas with a big opportunity and gives the Islanders the first lead in the series, defeating Mike Richter on that 1-0 New York. Then they go up by 2 or 3 minutes later. Dan Plante, in his first game of the series, bangs in loose puck. It's 2-0 Islanders. And the Long Island fans saying, "We believe." They believe, but the Rangers are better. Hextall makes the initial stop. Alexei Kovalev there for the rebound. 2-1 Islanders after 1. Early second period. Rangers tying up. Brian Leach over to Sergei Zubov. Zubov, face-off circle, scores upstairs. A beautiful blast. 2-all tie. Rangers taking complete control now. Mark Messier, great effort here as he just steals the puck from Vladimir Malakhov, goes in, scores the third unanswered marker by the Rangers. They trail 2-0. They now lead 3-2. Dan Plante looking for his second of the afternoon, blasts it high, but Mike Richter throws out the glove and makes a save. Rangers up 3-2 after 2. Rangers get the Bruins out in the third. Dennis Vasky gives it away deep in his own zone. Puck comes to Steve Reimer. Steve Reimer cashes in. 4-2 Rangers. They can go on to celebrate the 4-game sweep of the Islanders. They would add another, go on to win this one by a score of 5-2, win the series 4 straight. And over the 4-game series, the Rangers outscored the Islanders 22-3.
The idea is just to win 4 games. We were able to do it a little quicker in this series, but it didn't really matter. It's not it's not more elation in here because we beat them 4 straight. Just the win was good for us.
They played well. Victor played well, and we didn't do the things we were capable to do, and they won. Simple as that.
That is the NHL hockey story. Coming up next, the baseball story, including the Expos at Chavez Ravine, where Larry Walker experienced 2 of life's most embarrassing moments. Back from the fifth.
Responded like you knew they would. St. Patrick was back. And as usual, the 2-time Conn Smythe Trophy winner responded in typical fashion. The Bruins weren't impressed with his speedy recovery and tested Waugh early and often. And that included invading the crease to offer a more personal welcome back. But on this night, nothing rattled a man who could have worn a cape and stopped rubber bullets. He was Super Patrick. But even Super Patrick needed some help, and that came from a couple of veterans. Kirk Muller, ever the opportunist, scored twice, including his Series 4th. And the man who wears the C in this hockey pressure cooker, Guy Carbonneau, counting his playoff first. But the night, the game.
Casey with the original save, but then they were there for the rebound. Casey couldn't control the rebound because the shot was tipped, and Kirk Muller took his time, pulled it wide, and then made sure that he got the puck into the air. Desjardins makes a good shot from the point. The Canadiens defense keep it in. Canadiens going to the net. Tip in, try. Look at the 3 of them going to the net. It's kicked out by Casey. Muller on the backhand takes his time, pulls it wide, gets it in the air.
Kirk Muller ties Mike Modano for the playoff lead in goals with 5. Here are the 3 stars. No doubt about the first star. John Casey was brilliant in goal for Boston tonight. He starred 3. Joseph Stumple had the goal for Boston, but Patrick Waugh, the story here, 60 saves, 61-36, the shots on goal. The final score of Game 5, Montreal 2, Boston 1.
Goaltending duel featuring Patrick Waugh and John Casey that had the fans at that old building just buzzing. Interesting lineup changes off the top. Brian Bellows benched for Montreal. Donald Brashear and Brian Savage in the lineup from Fredericton. Patrick Waugh continuing to play wonderful hockey for the Habs. Bruins pressing here. Stumple in close. Great save. Patrick Waugh still in the first. Daniel Marois in close on the spin fire. And Patrick Waugh's got the save there and keeps the rebound out. Bruins outshot the Habs 20-5 in the first period. Second period, John Casey shows his stuff. Big stop there on DiPietro, and Gilbert Dion rolls the rebound wide. Then it's Casey again. Vincent Damphousse moving in, goes to the backhand. Casey goes with him and steers it away. Later in the second, Brian Smolinski moves in alone. He's bothered by the defenseman, but he gets a shot away, but Patrick Waugh coolly turns it away. 0-0 after 2. Bruins break the scoreless tie 2 minutes into the third. Waugh stops a shot from Glenn Murray, but Stumple jumps on the rebound. 33rd shot. Continue to press later in the third. Waugh will stop the shot from Adam Oates, and then he stops the rebound as well. Huge save by Patrick Waugh. That would loom largely because 5 minutes later, John LeClaire behind the net tries the wraparound, and the puck will dance in off Glenn Wesley's skate and get behind Casey. Game tied, 1-1. So they went to overtime. Patrick Waugh continues to shine there. Adam Oates, deflection, stopped by Waugh. He gets it back. Another big save by Patrick Waugh. And just over 2 minutes left in overtime. Casey stops the point shot. Kirk Muller with the rebound, and the backhander is in. And the Habs with the overtime magic once again. They win it by a score of 2-1, and they lead the series now, 3-2. Montreal over Boston 2-1 in a gem of a game. John LeClaire with his first and Kirk Muller with his fifth of this series. Stumple had the Boston goal. Patrick Waugh, 60 saves. The Habs were outshot 61-36, 60 saves. Needless to say, that was the story of the game, and here's our own Michael Whalen.
Well, the Canadiens keep their unbelievable night. It was Kirk Muller, number 11, who did it for the Habs.
It's nice to score in overtime and win it because we had to get tonight's win, but that's the bottom line.
I was trying to focus on every shot and stay in the game, not think about the number of shots or being tired and all that. I just wanted to make sure that my concentration was at a really high level.
A couple of days I feel bad, but right now I feel great. That's a big win for us, and I would like to give Patrick credit for that win.
Our three kids were outstanding. Brashear, Savage, and as you mentioned, Turner Stevenson, who I believe got 2 assists. We needed to put some fresh blood. We needed people to give us a total commitment tonight, and we got a total commitment. First period, Patrick was outstanding, as Patrick is always, and certainly at the end when they had 2 great quality chances. But let's not get misled by the shots. We had some great chances, too, and Casey played a heck of a game.
It's very frustrating, but we stuck to our game plan. We went to the net, we shot the puck, and it's got to go in sooner or later. And hey, we got 2 games. I mean, we're just going to go out and win 2 games and not worry about it. It's going to go in. We know it's going to go in. I mean, we just keep shooting, get our opportunities. I mean, we are getting some great opportunities. We just got to bear down a little more and bury it.
The Canadiens were outshot 61-36 in this game. That's a situation they're going to have to rectify for Game 6. St. Patrick is capable of only so many miracles. Michael Whalen, TSN in Boston, Massachusetts.
Okay, for a team that averaged over 4 goals a game in the regular season, the Pittsburgh Penguins have really come up short in the series with the Washington Capitals so far. Tough defense by unless some of those big guns on the Penguins started booming, the Penguins season would be over. Let's check out the action from this one. Interesting move by Schoenfeld. Byron Defoe gets the start. He lost the only game he started, Game 2. Pens get on the board first. Mario with a big blast. Defoe's got that, but can't handle the rebound, and Sean McEachern tucks it under him. So 1-0 Pittsburgh early on. In the second, Sylvain Cote sends Ridley in 2-on-1. He decides to shoot, beats Barrasso through the legs, and we're tied up at 1. Minutes later, Joe Juneau from the corner, blind pass, gobbled up here by Kevin Hatcher. Good move to the backhand, and upstairs he goes, and the Caps have the lead. Still in the second, Steve Konowalchuk has a chance to make it 3-1, but he can't corral the bouncing puck. It is corralled. In the second, Kevin Stevens finally gets a goal, a great flick shot right there. Defoe was partially screened, but it ties it at 2 going into the third. In the third, the Caps give it away here. Taglianetti quickly on the transition, gives it to Jagger. Check out this shot. Zing! In over the shoulder of Byron Defoe. First goal for Jagger in the series, so Stevens and Jagger get it going. 3-2 Pens, but it was still Barrasso who made the huge save off Bondra late in the game to solidify the victory for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they're still alive. 3-2 the final score there, and 3-2 the series lead for the Capitals. McEachern, Stevens, and Jagger for Pittsburgh. Mike Ridley and Kevin Hatcher replying for Washington. Barrasso very solid, 26 saves, and the Penguins are still alive. Okay, on to the Sabres and the Devils. New Jersey, the site of this game. John Muckler and the Sabres needing to at least take 1 game in the Meadowlands, and the Sabres take the early lead. Dale Howardchuk, watch, his pass will go off the defenseman Ken Danico and off Brodeur, and is lying right there, and Yuri Himalev just puts it in the yawning cage. 1-0 Buffalo. Devils come right back, though. Great pass here from Claude Lemieux in the corner, who had a great game. Well, he finds John McLean out front. McLean just puts the stick out, and it's in. No chance for Hasek. Game tied at 1. Alexander McGillney recharging the turbocharger right there. He's got the good jets, and watch, he uses them on this play as he gobbles up a puck and skates in and goes to the backhand. Not much chance there for Brodeur. Buffalo leads at 3-1. on the goal by McGillney. And this guy, oh, charming. Yeah, nice. Like the jewelry. But the Devils cut the lead to 3-2. Stéphane Richer will go in and rip one right past Dominic Hasek. Goes off his shoulder. And Stéphane Richer still has that bullet of a drive. It's all tied at 3. And the Devils win it on a great goal. Look at the undressing by Claude Lemieux of Richard Smellick. And then he puts a great move on Hasek as well. Devils lead at 4-3. Things got a little ugly over by the Buffalo bench later. Some fans threw some stuff, and so some of the Buffalo coaches and players started throwing some punches. It was eventually broken up, but not much security on that side of the rink at the Meadowlands. And they had to be happy, though, those fans, as they went home with a 5-3 win. John McLean with a pair of goals, Claude Lemieux with a pair of goals, including that beauty for the winner. Stéphane Richer had the other. Himmelev, Plant, and Alexander McGillney had the other Buffalo goal. Claude Lemieux with 2 goals and 2 assists, a 4-point night, and New Jersey leads the series 3-2. So with hockey, international hockey, not that Team Canada General Manager Glenn Sather wishes anybody any bad luck in the playoffs, but hey, when teams get eliminated, players become available. St. Louis Blues, Brendan Shanahan and Steve Duchesne have agreed to join Team Canada. They'll arrive in Italy on Wednesday, but the tournament began on Monday. The Canadiens in action in Game 1, the World Hockey Championships, and facing the host team, Italy. We've got some highlights for you right away. We'll take a shot from the far side. Jeff Sanderson. And his big blast beats the Italian goaltender. And Canada had 2 goals in 10 seconds, actually. They had to lead 2-1. Then Canada on the power play. Arnott back to Yves Racine. His shot through a crowd. It's in. Canada's up 3-1. And in the third, another Canadian power play. Jeff Sanderson in the corner here spots Mike Ricci cruising in front. He redirects, and Canada wins this game by a score of 4-1. Sakic.
It's Detroit and San Jose coming up, game number 5.
Love and Whitney going at it just off to the side of the net, and they just continue going at it. Punch for punch, back and forth. Breaks out into a little melee here after that punch. And Cicerelli comes and gets involved and ends up getting a penalty also.
Whitney gets a slashing penalty. Kozlov gets a high sticky.
Got to get it deep here, but it bounces up as Didick stands up to stop the play. And a strange bounce. We talked about a weird one deciding this hockey game. Cordnell is the opportunist. He finds a puck, a perfect shot, and we've got another hockey game to enjoy, Don.
Well, Jeff Cordnell, who sipped champagne from the Stanley Cup as a member of the Edmonton Oilers, keeps alive the hopes of doing it again in this 94 playoff season as his bullet-like shot from the top of the circle beats Mike Vernon, and the celebration at the Canuck bench is underway. So Game 6 will be at the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver on Thursday night, and if it goes to 7, they'll be back here at the Saddle Dome on Saturday. Cordnell in overtime, 2-1 Vancouver.
Pivotal playoff games. Starting in Calgary, where the Flames, leading 3-1, were in a position to put away the Vancouver Canucks. The Canucks knew full well what they had to do to stay alive. They knew what, and they knew who. The who being Pavel Bure. He simply had to contribute for the Canucks to keep their playoff hopes alive, and he, in fact, did early on. Greg Adams with a steal. He fields Bure, and watch the smile on the face of the Russian Rocket. Boy, is he ever letting off steam. He had struggled so badly, and he was carrying so much weight, it's 1-0. But on the 3-on-1, the Flames catch a break. Roberts' pass goes right to Titov off the skate of a defender. 1-1 hockey game. Later on in the first, the Flames are shorthanded. Kelly Kissio in all alone, but McLean stones him, closing the pads. Not to be outdone. Watch Mike Vernon right here. The save on Martin Jelena. Outstanding the way he did the splits. And Pat Quinn wondering at this point which goaltender will break first. Late in the third, Mike Sullivan with a chance. Sullivan moves around the defender. Goes backhand, but it just goes wide. And Dave King and the Flames and the Canucks are going into overtime. In overtime, Dahl has it get by him. It goes to Jeff Cordnell. Cordnell over the blue line, and he rifles a shot. Is that ever reminiscent of a shot by Wayne Gretzky a few years ago? Cordnell and the Vancouver Canucks can celebrate. What a shot that was, and what an important one. The Canucks are still alive. They beat the Calgary Flames by a score of 2-1. Bure opened the scoring. Cordnell finished the scoring. It was his third of the playoffs. None more important than that. Titov with his second. McLean made 21 saves. Vernon also sharp in the nets. Flames, by the way, have not won a playoff series since 1989. They were hoping to avert that tonight, or they were hoping to end that streak tonight, but they did not. Also on Joel Otto, an MRI showed strained left knee ligaments. He is day-to-day. Let's get more on the Canucks victory over the Flames from Lisa Bowes in Calgary.
And so the Canucks refused to die. Jeff Courtnall extending the series. And interestingly enough, his overtime winner was scored on his first shot of the hockey game.
It's been tough to get loose. Their defense have played so well that you don't get much room to skate out there. They always seem to have 3 guys back. So just to get loose and get my shot away again felt good. And I think maybe give me a little confidence here down the stretch.
You know, we're down 3 games to 1. We can't afford to really open it up. We played tight checking the whole game as they did, and it's paid off in the end for us.
You know, whether you want to call it mental lapses or bouncing pucks, we've been a little unlucky. Tonight we got lucky. Flipper up there, and that one bounced our way, and then Courts makes a great shot to finish it off. Playoffs is all that. Great goaltending, a little luck, and a lot of hard work.
We won a game. It was a nice way to win, but the fact still remains we're down a game in the series, and we've still got to win a couple more.
They still have to win 4 anyways. They haven't got their 4th one, and neither do we. So we got a lot of hockey left.
We just got real cautious, and started to try to play safe versus anything else. So we ended up just chipping the puck out, and they would go back and get it, come in for a shoot-in, we'd get it and chip it out, and we didn't put a couple of passes together to get some puck control. We seemed to lack puck control in the last 8 or 10 minutes of that third period, and that was the difference in terms of us not getting very many chances.
We've got 2 more cracks at it. Let's, we want it.
Clearly deflated after squandering this opportunity to wrap the series up in 5. They must now go back to the West Coast, where the Canucks are hoping to redeem themselves. They lost games 3 and 4 at home, but will try to force Game 7 in this heated Western Conference quarterfinal. Lisa Bose, TSN, Calgary.
Boy, is Dave King ever right. When you get cautious, you get killed in overtime. In the Toronto-Chicago series, the Leafs opened with an easy win over the Hawks, and since then, every inch of ice has been fought for. 3 straight one-goal games, and it was all tied at 2 as the series moved to an electric Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. Fireworks going off. Some big banging in this one. Gary Suter with a shot on Bill Berg. I'll tell you, every time a guy went near the boards, he got hit. This was terrific playoff hockey. Bill Berg with a chance in front of the net, but there is Ed Belfour setting the tone for the game. You knew he was sharp, and then at the other end, it's Belfour once again on Mike Gartner. Gartner just can't beat him. Some questionable in this one on Dmitry Mironov. Even the 2 team stars were battling. Gilmore and Roenick jawing at each other, hitting each other every chance they could get. That was super entertaining to watch. Great goaltending continues. Joe Murphy with a shot right there, but watch Felix Potvin reach back. It's behind him, and he grabs it before it goes in the net. Scary moment for the Maple Leafs. Gary Suter with a shot to the head of Gilmore. It wasn't that hurt him. He went down backwards, folding up along the boards. His leg kind of got trapped underneath him. His knee should be okay. Tough game, just ask Peter Zezel. He shows it. So Gilmore goes back on the ice, tries it for one shift, then can't go. So they put Eastwood on the power play. Andrew Chuck to Eastwood, and Eastwood subbing for Doug Gilmore. Burns said there was no one else to put in. Gilmore forced to leave the game, but they didn't need him the rest of the way because Felix Potvin held him off the score sheet for his 2nd shutout of the playoffs. The first time since 1963 that a Maple Leaf goaltender has had 2 shutouts in a playoff series. It was Johnny Bauer back in '63 over the Canadiens. Final score, Toronto 1 and Chicago.
Down in the 3rd period with what they're calling a bruised ankle. He'll have that re-examined before Game 6. Defenseman Dmitry Mironov, who suffered a Charlie horse when hit by Dirk Graham, is listed as day-to-day. Rod Smith, TSN, in Toronto.
We're on our way to San Jose where the Sharks and the Wings are going at it once again. The best opening to a game, and the San Jose fans hope that it'll be a great close as well. Early on, Todd Ellick beats Chris Osgood through the pads. Osgood let in 2 bad goals. He's replaced by Bob Essenza. Goaltending still plaguing the Detroit Red Wings. This series was tied at 2. Artur Zerbe kept busy by Dino Cicerelli. He was in his face and on his face for most of the day. Paul Coffey moves in, loses the puck. Zerbe stopped all of the Wings early on, but he couldn't stop Jason Moore. His teammate scores on his own net. Wings trail it by 1. 2nd period, score tied at 2. Sergei Makarov watched the move, but what's Essenza doing down on the ice? On his knees. Lots of room up top. Makarov says, thanks very much, or the Russian equivalent, 3-2 for the Sharks. Now to the 3rd, Sharks leading at 5-3. Lidstrom with a shot off the skate of Norton, I believe, and the Detroit Red Wings trail up by 1. But then a 3-on-1, and Baker with the shot, and Airy there to sweep in the rebound. Don't blame Essenza for that one. That was weak defense. Detroit, a shambles right now defensively, and in goal 6-4 San Jose. They held on for the victory. Shepard with a pair, Lidstrom with a pair as well for San Jose. Ellick, Airy, Garpenlov, Dahlin, and Makarov with a pair. He now has 5 in the series. Urbe made 31 saves, clearly outplaying his opponents, Osgood and Essenza. They allowed 6 goals on 21 shots, and if you're a Red Wings fan now, you got to be sweating bullets against those Sharks. Series will go back to Detroit for Game 6 and Game 7 if necessary. Okay, other games taking place on Wednesday night. Live on TSN, we have got the Pittsburgh Penguins against the Washington Capitals. Everybody thought the Pens were dead. They were not. Can they remain alive? We'll find out. New Jersey at Buffalo. The Devils lead this series 3-2. We expect more great goaltending in that one. And the series that has just been fascinating, Boston against Roy. That's Boston against Montreal. Canadiens lead that series 3-2 in that one at the Forum in Montreal. Now, getting Patrick Roy back in the lineup as quickly as possible was a sound hockey decision. But the question being raised by the head of the Quebec Association of Surgeons is whether it was a sound medical decision. Dr. Michael Talbot says delaying an operation for appendicitis is, quote, very risky treatment, unquote. Another Montreal area surgeon says antibiotic treatment can work but carries a higher incidence of relapse with more serious complications. The Habs doctor says that Roy is in no danger and has advised him to have surgery after the playoffs. It appears the last hurdle has been cleared to
Keelback that he may not have one of broadcasting's most cherished jobs next season.
Well, I was pretty aggressive, and I suppose in the final analysis, cooler heads generally do prevail, so, you know, there's still a possibility, I suppose, of something happening. And just the way things have gone as far as this whole issue has been received by everybody has made me realize just how important the job is to me, and in some ways to other people too. So it makes you kind of appreciate what you had, and I'd be a fool not to want to have it again.
The program director also told us today Keelback's job has not yet been posted and will not be until his departure from the station is absolutely final. And finally tonight, because many of you may have been in bed by the time it was scored, here again is the overtime winner for the Vancouver Canucks against the Calgary Flames in Game 5 of their first-round series, scored by Jeff Courtnall to send the series back to Vancouver for Game 6 tomorrow night. Flames still lead 3-2. And a final reminder that coming up here on CBC Manitoba in a few moments, it's Game 6 of the Boston-Montreal first-round series. Canadiens in Boston with a chance to end it. And again, all eyes will be on the game's #1 goaltender, Patrick Roy.
The following is a presentation of CBC Sports.
His performance has defied all logic. At times, it borders on the mysterious.